So what we have on the table today is number 4 buckshot. Now in previous videos we tested that 7.5 shot, which basically means each pellet is almost 1/10 of an inch in diameter. Then we kicked it up to that Federal Premium turkey hunting load, which was a 3-inch Magnum shell, kicked like a mule, and that was roughly 0.124 inches in diameter per pellet. But now we're going to double that. We're going to 0.24 inches in diameter and testing that 27 pellet number 4 buckshot. Now it's not as large as your standard double-aught buck 9 pellet shells, but what we lose in diameter we make up in pellets. We have 3 times as many pellets, so the equivalent of this would be 27 people getting online and shooting the same target at the same exact time in the same place with a 25 caliber pistol. Now before we get into the results today, let me first apologize for our yellow blocks of ballistic gelatin. We're saving up for some new ones, as I said in that previous video, so hopefully we'll have them soon. So we had a good center shot here, and we have a 1/2 inch permanent cavity that reaches all the way out to that 6-inch mark. Now surprisingly, that starts to expand to 3/4 of an inch, and that reaches from the 6 to the 8-inch mark. And from there we start to see the pellets go off into their own quadrants. We start to see that cone start to expand here, and it reaches all the way out to 5 inches in diameter here by the end of ballistic gelatin block. Now, we had one leave the block here at the 14-inch mark. The rest stayed inside the block, penetrating out to the 13.5, 14, and 15-inch mark respectively. Now, we're going to have to move the camera because of the amount of penetration we had during this test to show you guys just how much devastation we have inside the ballistic gelatin. So this is where our 2 ballistic gelatin blocks met, and as you can tell, those were the 3 we previously talked about, but most of the pellets actually penetrated into this second block. Now our farthest penetrated piece is out here at the 23-inch mark. Now keep in mind that the FBI actually recommends that each round penetrates between 12 and 18 inches because after 18 inches we risk penetrating our target and hitting a bystander. So everything past this mark risks over penetration. Now something to consider is although we have that increased risk of overpenetration, we didn't really gain much on the side of permanent cavitation. As you can tell, especially with this one here, the permanent cavity is basically non-existent from the 17-inch mark all the way out to the 18-inch mark. We have similar performance from most of these pellets. Now if we compare that to that Federal turkey load that we just tested, which is literally still right here, we can tell that although these BBs are half the diameter of the ones we just tested, they have similar permanent cavities out at the same distance. So we didn't really gain much by risking this much over penetration. Now overall, it's an okay round. It did what it was supposed to do, but we did have that risk of over penetration. Now there is something to be said about the length of the barrel that we use. 29 inches is incredibly long, and most people are going to be using a much shorter barrel for home defense, but it is still a risk you need to consider. Now stand by for our future videos. I'm really excited. We have a couple tests coming up that should be neat. We've got the PDX Defender in 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch that we're going to be testing out of that shotgun, so it should be pretty neat. Thanks for watching today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and post any comments you have below. I'll see you next time.